Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Movies! That's right. Welcome to the Dirty Penguin Presents Season 3, Episode 3, The Edge of Tomorrow.
I think it's Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, it's like a subtitle, right? Is that what it's called?
It is. Okay, so it became a tagline for the film, but actually in the beginning it was Live, Die, Repeat, and then they came up with the title Edge of Tomorrow. To me, I think the movie suffers because of it, because it's a very, very hard movie to talk about because people don't even actually know what the name of the movie is. Even now, as they are going into production on the sequel, they're making Edge of Tomorrow 2, but the title of the film is Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
Yeah, well,
which is a horrible name.
Is
for
that
a movie
really
to
the
begin
title
with.
of this movie?
It hasn't. I don't think they haven't even started shooting, so who knows?
Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat, the sequel.
You're talking about the
There's a sequel coming
The
out.
sequel's title is Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat because the first movie is Live, Die, Repeat, but then it was retitled Edge of Tomorrow.
I've only ever known it as Edge of Tomorrow.
And that was such
And then when I was looking it up for Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, it said it wouldn't even come. It'd be like Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. And
When
I was
it
like,
originally, I think, came to On Demand, I watched it as Live, Die, Repeat. And I have since had to start searching for Edge of Tomorrow to be able to find it.
much better title. With
I've
Live,
always-
Die, Repeat.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why they did it. Live, Die, Repeat was the original title, and I don't think it tested well. And so
Really?
they changed it to Edge of Tomorrow.
See, I like
There was
that.
a reason why they called it Edge of Tomorrow. I think people didn't like it, or something happened.
I want to say Japanese story that it's based on is titled "You Will Kill."
It's
No. All you need is kill.
All you need
yeah,
is
is
kill.
kill.
which I
Thank
like
you.
that better
All
too.
you
All
need
you
is kill,
need is
which I
kill.
don't quite
Do,
get,
do,
but I
do,
haven't
do.
read the
I
Japanese.
think it may be
story,
a
so-
translation issue.
But before we get too far into it, Doug, why don't you give us those fresh movie facts?
Movie facts. Fresh facts, buddy.
Give it to us straight, Doug.
Those fresh movie facts.
Play the facts.
Give it to us straight, Doug.
Those fresh facts, Doug.
So, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow was made in 2014. What is the Rotten Tomatoes score on this one?
I think it did well with critics.
Oh, I've got it right here.
Oh,
Oh, I was going to guess
sorry.
56% fresh.
That's 70.
it's my pick, and I don't know. I say 83%.
90%.
And 90%.
Beautiful.
Both.
90-90.
It deserved it. It's a good movie.
It was received
Yes.
well.
This stars Tom Cruise and American treasure Emily Blunt.
Mhm.
I don't think she's from here.
She
This
is
movie
pretty.
is what I
He is
discovered.
well.
And Bill Paxton.
I know
Emily
because we've
Blunt.
had this conversation.
dear listeners, he is well aware that she is not
I
American.
know.
He's decided to appropriate.
This is a callback.
Wait
to
till
a-
we get to all the American treasures in the Prestige. It's a $178 million budget.
Whoa.
I have both U.S. and worldwide.
I know.
I don't
neither.
think it made its
I don't
budget
think
back.
it did either.
Oh, I think it did.
Oh.
Go. We'll say U.S. Just
This would
Oh,
be
US.
I say
I don't think it
100.
did in U.S. No, I don't think it did.
100 million.
398 million.
I don't even remember this film at the theater.
Me neither.
Like
Don't
I
either.
discovered
we saw it. We
after.
saw it in the theater. 100 million.
Wow.
368 million worldwide.
Ooh,
Well,
wow.
Angie
close.
doesn't miss a Tom Cruise movie for nothing.
This is directed by Doug Liman, who did Born Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Swingers. As Andy said, the manga is All You Need Is Kill, and it was written by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. And when he wrote the novel, he got the idea from video gaming and resetting it over and over until he got the winning strategy.
Mm.
Makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Some just little unique things about this was the film was released in the U.S. on D-Day, the 70th anniversary of D-Day.
Hmm.
And there's obviously similarities of it with
Yeah.
Normandy and everything.
Right.
The filmmakers described this project as a cross between Groundhog Days and Starship Troopers, which is 100%
absolutely.
accurate.
I thought the exact same thing.
I watched Starship Troopers the other day.
That movie's fucking awesome.
It is. It's so good.
I've never seen it.
That movie is fucking awesome.
So Brad Pitt was
Fucking
originally
Jake Busey?
considered for the role of Bill
Ugh.
Cage. And
Who? I'm sorry, who?
Brad Pitt.
Can you imagine?
And the only other thing I have is Emily Blunt admitted that after putting on the metal suit, she started crying because it was so heavy. It weighed 85 pounds.
Holy moly.
And that she would be required to perform action scenes in it for 5 months. She was jokingly told by Cruise to stop being such a wuss.
Oh,
Jokingly.
so funny.
Jokingly, but really, stop.
I'm about to go jump out of a plane for this Mission Impossible movie.
I'm gonna go break my ankle and keep running.
So that's all I have on this movie. Angie, you chose this movie.
I did. It is a favorite of mine. It's not my most favorite movie, but it is a movie I love, and I felt compelled to choose it after trash talking
Oh, Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla Sky so much.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
That surprised me. This was a surprising
But she's a
picture.
Tom Cruise fan.
As a general rule, I like Tom Cruise movies. And in any like topic that we decide for a season, I could probably find a Tom Cruise movie that would fit.
Mhm.
You know,
He's been in so many.
Well, yes, and even his like fluff films, like Night and Day,
That's one I always think of. That's such a good movie.
with Cameron
He's
Diaz.
so good in that.
It's such a fluff. It's like a fluff piece.
It's a better title of a movie. too.
And it's like that would be like a guilty pleasure because I really enjoy that movie. I enjoy him in his Mission Impossible movies. So generally speaking, I like his movies. And this was, I guess, Vanilla Sky was the exception. I enjoyed Groundhog Day, and I like that like theme. I like that.
What you learn when you have to live the same day over.
time
the life
vortex
lessons you
Yeah,
have to.
and also I generally come across as not liking these kinds of mind-bendy type movies. This one, I thought it was well done. I was able to suspend my disbelief, and I just enjoyed the movie as a whole. I like that they don't rush the movie. You know, they build on it. Like they repeat the day and repeat the day. And then little by little, they repeat the day and they go a little further. They repeat the day and they go a little further in the day and they repeat the day. So you feel it and everything just gels together really well.
Yeah, I loved this movie.
Yeah, me
I
too.
had
Yeah?
never seen
You
this
hadn't
movie.
seen it?
I never
Really?
seen this movie. And I'd always heard about it, but I mean, nothing that I didn't know anything about it other than, it's a Tom Cruise action movie.
Right.
It's a Tom Cruise action movie. And that because that's what it looks like to me. I was like, oh, it's a really poor title, whatever.
Yes.
So I never saw it.
And you know what? I thought it was a sequel to something. Even hearing the name, The Edge of Tomorrow, sounds to me like it's a sequel to some other movie that I've never heard of.
It sounds like I kept thinking of
I've heard of
Sky
tomorrow.
Captain and The Edge of Tomorrow. Right? Wait, Edge of
Sky
Edge,
Captain
Edge of the World.
Edge of the World, I think.
That's
isn't
what I
it?
kept thinking. Like, is that Sky?
No, it's something about tomorrow.
of Tomorrow.
World of Tomorrow. That's exactly what it is. I think.
Whatever, but that's what I kept. I think I confused at some point in my mind. I confused these two movies, Sky Captain and the whatever
And
of
the World of
To be
Tomorrow.
honest, I
And-
think this movie suffers more from the terrible title and not knowing what the name of the movie
Yes.
is more than anything.
Oh, because
But
this
once
movie's
you
awesome.
discover it, the movie's awesome.
Yes,
It
I
is a
loved
great,
it.
gripping, entertaining story.
Yes.
It's got the right action.
Yeah.
It hits the right amount of
It
comedy.
has humor.
You laugh.
appreciate
You appreciate the love story that's in it, and it even has some really, if you're willing to dive deep enough into it, some really interesting commentary on war.
I
On
can see that, like-
war, the nature of war, what you have. I mean, Tom
The duty of
Cruise
soldiers
as
and-
Cage goes from being this really unlikable media, face
PR guy.
Talking,
I'm
a
not
talking
here to
head.
fight.
Yes.
And then he goes so far in that meeting with the first general as to do those
Try to blackmail
subtle
him.
blackmail.
I even
attempts.
said,
Subtle.
I even wrote down, as an ad guy, you think he knows audience. Like, that
Right.
was not going to work.
Right.
But, he just couldn't help himself.
Right. He's because he's
Well,
so
I mean, that's
terrified.
Well, I think he was
his last
desperate.
ditch effort,
Yeah,
right?
I think he was
That's-
desperate not to
Yeah.
go.
In the negotiation, last thing you go to is the threat.
Well, but I mean, there's also like the power situation. I mean, like this is a guy who's the general of all the forces of whatever it was of the
Of the
ADR.
world.
Yeah,
Well,
Like,
He's the general of the world.
I think he was hoping that he didn't have jurisdiction over him, and then when he learned that he'd been transferred over, he's just like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of those things that we have to have a little bit of suspension of disbelief on, because somewhere along the way, his CO should have told him, by the way, we've transferred your.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
this
There's
is
a lot
yes.
of there.
Yes.
this is me
Yes.
just trying to pick a nit on
I
a little
wouldn't-
bitty thing
I wouldn't
that
nitpick this movie because if you
Yeah.
if you start pulling that thread on that sweater, the sweater in this sci-fi fantasy, because this is more of a sci-fi fantasy than a sci-fi thriller, because the science of it is going to fall apart. Some of the logistics of it are
Oh.
going to fall apart pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's
on
some things
that
you just
sweater.
have to accept.
But if you just sit back and enjoy the film and enjoy what they give you, it's a fantastic.
Well, no, let's get into
movie.
this time travel now.
you get to watch Kage go from that moment where he's trying to do whatever he can.
Well,
get
he
out
was
of it.
only in ROTC in college, remember? And
Right.
like, so he's
He
like, no,
gives-
I'm not a soldier.
Right. But by the end of the film, he is a soldier.
Mhm.
But you see him go through those, living that same day over again. You watch him as a person go from fearing war to then, okay, now I've got to figure out a way to win. Then he figures out that he's not going to be able to get any further because he cares too much about the people around him. So he forgets all the people around him and just focuses on learning how to get to where he wants to go. And it's only until he gets there and realizes, you know what, I do need these other people to be able to win. But he's developing and learning as an individual about war and the nature of war and what it does to you psychologically as you go through the film. That I think, if you take a deep dive with me, I think it's really interesting.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Deep dive with Andy.
Well, I knew it was going to be a great film when I saw Brendan Gleeson as the general.
Right.
He's fantastic.
Is Brendan
I'm
Gleeson,
gonna say
right?
this.
Yes, Brendan
Yeah.
Gleeson.
I imagine
He's
like,
great in everything he's in.
I
Oh
think,
my God.
I
Love him.
imagine
He
that
really
he
is.
smells in real life. Like,
What?
For some reason, I think.
I think
wanna
I
smell
think it
him?
smells like Old
Interesting point.
Spice.
Like smelly? Like he's
I
like
don't
he's
know.
like body
I just
odor
didn't know.
smells?
No, I don't know. I don't. Maybe not even a body odor smell. Maybe like a. I don't know.
He just has
Like
a
he-
musk to him, like
I
an
guess 'cause I always see him.
identifiable.
He's always like either like some
Slightly
Irish
unkempt.
priest,
Yeah.
or some.
Yes.
But do you find it
Well,
weird?
not
Mark,
always. He
Or
was
has
Mad
a weird
Eye.
eye.
He was Mad Eye Moody.
with his character, isn't it a little odd that, in the whole first encounter scene with Tom Cruise, and he's talking about, Tom Cruise is doing anything he can to not be on that beach tomorrow. And he's such a hardcore, hard ass, this is the way it works. This is the way you're going to do it. And you're going to do it for me, da-da-da. That he has this man arrested and he has him busted down to a private and forces him to fight in the war because he won't. And then later,
Basically front
and then
lines.
later you find out that he has pulled some strings for the secretary's son and made sure that he was stationed in Australia out of the fight.
Well, secretary is somebody he knows. This dude is just a tool.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Who came in
He's a
and was
tool to
like
sell the
talking
war.
about,
Who is
That's
he?
because that was
Yeah.
that's
so
his
what are you
mission.
planning on doing after
You need to
this?
sell the war
Politics or
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
from the line.
from the front line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He'd already sold it to the media for them to get that far.
And all he said
Right.
was, and I mean, all he really was supposed to do was, you're going to be there embedded with the troops. You keep your rank as major, and you just go in there, and you have 300 men around you. But I mean, I get it, and like I said, it's picking nits. But no, the general though, he's good in this movie.
Yeah.
And when they go back to him the second time,
I didn't key into this while I was watching the movie, but I keyed into it when you said it. Made the comparison to a video game, and I love because that's exactly how I.
Yeah,
play
that was the
video games.
author's.
Yep.
He
That's-
was
You go as far, and then you're
inspired by that.
like, I mean, 'cause I
and then and you're like, okay, this guy's going to be right around the corner. We're gonna
exactly
turn this
because you
corner.
know what, I could play Super Mario Brothers right now, and go from World 1 directly to Bowser right now with all the warps, and probably do it like fluidly as I did. Maybe it took, but you memorize that.
There's a lot of muscle memory.
Exactly. It's all muscle memory.
Yeah.
And I love how they displayed that throughout the movie between American Treasure, Emily Blunt, and Tom Cruise.
Cruise.
After she'd lost her like vision powers or whatever. And he's dragging her along the battlefield. I think it's great.
And I think it's amazing. Like, when you get into the movie, they eventually start skipping all the having to introduce, but he has to do that like every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's got some
Well,
way.
he's learned the fastest way. To
Yeah,
get
that's
through
exactly
that
what
every
it
time.
is. I keep coming back with the dead.
Just
Yeah.
like when he's almost running into the J barracks and putting his stuff up. He's putting it.
Yeah.
I'm not running.
Well, and that's
let's
what-
get the,
and
the
that's-
card thing. I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah,
just
he-
hide
well,
the
he
cards
hides
for you
it.
guys,
He
and we'll put
eventually
this up
hides
here.
it for him.
Hey, let's go
Yeah.
do some PT. Y'all ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next at PT? Yeah, I like that they make him start the day over so many times so this is happening. And then
Yeah.
once you realize that, they move him forward in the day.
Exactly.
And little
Yeah.
by little,
Once
they
he's
move it
successful,
further
it keeps
and further.
Mhm.
Yes, and you get to see it, and you get to
Yeah.
experience it, and so
It
everything
almost feels
is
like it's real time.
yes,
but,
I love
yeah.
when they get
everything
through,
is believable. Everything is
I think he's got to that point where he's determined to get off that beach, and he's trying to figure out how to do that by himself. He's not even waking up and going to Emily Blunt anymore. But they show that scene where J. Crew is in the pit and the monster's going to come up and kill them all, And here comes Tom Cruise running around the corner,
Running the
shooting
circle?
into the center, doing the circle, and he's like, "Sarge, isn't that the new guy?"
It was so funny. I texted y'all when
I
I was
know, there
watching
was-
it, going like, "This movie is so funny." I don't know if it meant, to, but I was.
But I
laughing.
think that was supposed to be like
Oh, the humor.
Yeah.
a little
I
relief,
know, but
a
it's
little
what makes
comedic
it
relief.
so good.
I don't know if they.
Yeah.
You know who's
I don't know
wearing
if they
that
want it
suit?
described
A dead man.
that way. Yeah, I don't know if the producers will be like, I hope people just go around going, Edge of Tomorrow, it's so funny. But that was
hysterical.
the first thing.
Well, no, it's
You're
a
gonna-
it's a
it's
really
a real
good,
knee slapper.
it's a really good blend.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
this
you-
is really the
absolutely.
movie for me where I just discovered Emily Blunt. I don't know that I'd ever seen
No,
her.
Devil Wears
Devil Wears
Prada.
Prada.
I don't know.
Hey.
I never saw that
Hello.
film. But I thought-
Sicario. She was really good in Sicario.
Oh,
Never saw
Sicario is
Sicario.
a good.
But I
one.
really
Still haven't seen that. I
love
need to
this
see that. I
movie.
want to so bad.
Who are y'all? Doug. Join us for Doug Makes the Dirty Penguin Watch Movies.
Our new
Against our
podcast,
will.
where Doug criticizes us for not,
not
seeing
seeing
every
movies.
single movie under the sun. And
Well,
known
have
to
you
man.
seen Devil Wears Prada?
Who do you think I live with?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, I watch it every time it's
comes
on. I know.
It's like,
Oh, I
it
love
doesn't
that
matter
movie.
where it's at.
Oh, it's a good movie. Anyways, American Treasure, Emily Blunt. Yes,
Yeah, she's fantastic.
she's great in this movie.
I love the scene in the house where he's getting her coffee and he gives her 2 lumps of sugar and then he goes, "Oh wait, it's three. You like 3?" And she's like, "How many times?" Have we-" She pulls.
I like
"How many
that. I
times
like
have
when
we
they're
been
like,
here?"
how many times have we been here? You're gonna.
Yeah.
I like
That
I like the
scene
little
is actually used
montage
in the
where
trailer
he's
for the movie.
training and he's just like
No.
he keeps
No.
getting knocked down and she's like, well.
Yeah.
It just pulls out the gun and shoots him, and he just starts crawling over. He's like,
No, look, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Gotta go.
Yeah, that I think is my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yes,
is that
when she
scene.
keeps murdering him
Exactly.
in
She
cold
just
blood
walks
over
up
and over
and
again.
pops a cap in him every single time.
and she's
Every
such a
time he
badass.
fails.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they give her more nuance and more depth the further along in the
Yeah.
movie we go, but she's just like this badass.
Well, and they
Which is
set-
great
They do
to
such
me.
a good job of setting
Yes.
up her character before you ever meet her, with the idea that she is both the angel of Verdun and the heavy metal bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great character setup for her, and then she's like doing the sexiest push up in the world when
Wait,
you walk
She's
up.
doing yoga.
Yeah.
I don't
Look
know
Yeah.
like
if you
yoga.
do
Come on
push-ups
now.
like that, but that's like
That's
a
not-
sexy
that's
ass
that's
push-up.
yoga.
I mean, right? Wasn't
Fun-
she
That's
doing
yoga.
yoga?
It's like a military- it's
no,
like-
no. It is yoga, and it's called. I can't remember what the pose was. I read about it. It was something that she could just do, and they were like, when the director came by, they're like, "Hey, watch this, Emily, do whatever pose." And so, like, that's a pose that she can actually do.
Well, I mean,
But
Oh,
it's
you
not
mean
her
that
shoe.
wa- that
actually
wasn't
does.
Well, I mean,
CGI?
like
God,
before
it's
the movie, it wasn't like for the movie.
Well,
She-
yeah, because the director was like, "Ooh,
It's the
look
sexiest
at
push-up I've ever
let's put
seen.
that in the
Yeah,
movie."
Yeah.
She looked
I could
hot.
watch Emily Blunt do push-ups for days.
I'll say I loved this movie and it was funny and kept my attention, but I mean, over the head. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I get it now.
Let's get into it. So,
What did he not get?
what's the issue?
Okay, y'all don't make me feel bad.
We're not.
My
No,
little
no,
brain,
Help
you
us.
know,
Help us help you.
couldn't understand some things. Like I didn't understand. Well, okay, the slime. Okay, so he killed the alpha. Slime got in his eye, and that's how he was able to.
The Omega.
Yeah.
the
The
Omega
Omega.
was a big.
I
You're
think
right.
he,
It's
I
the
think
Alpha.
he
Yeah.
got it in
Alpha.
his mouth. I think he ingested some of it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
it
screaming.
It
I
seeped
got all
into
over
It
him.
got into
yeah.
him, and I got
yeah.
And here's the note I have for that. Accept the transfer of reset power. Suspend disbelief. Just accept it.
So they
It
say
makes no sense.
they say that the blood is what did it and what made him
Right, and
reset it.
I was okay with that because I understood her backstory where the blood transfusion negated
Yeah.
all of that, and where, that's why she was trying to keep him from
from
getting
getting
him-
right.
getting him into a hospital, making sure he stayed out of the hospitals. What I didn't get really was the part at the end where he revisited one last time.
So when he
like the
died at the end in the water,
because he got the blood transfusion.
right? But then when he killed the
I'm skipping
Omega,
too far
when he
ahead.
blew the Omega up, the Omega's blood came back up on him, and it reset him to the very beginning.
But why
Very
just
beginning.
once though? I mean, how did they know just once? How come it didn't stay with them?
What do you mean?
How
just
do you know
once?
it didn't stay with him though?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I think that might be part of why the sequel is hailed both as a sequel and a prequel, because I think now he has the power of the
Omega.
Omega.
Oh,
And not just the power of
but
an
he also
alpha,
woke up
right?
in a different
He
time.
was
He
further
woke
back.
up.
Yeah, he woke up further back. He woke up on a
Yes.
helicopter.
Because I think
Yeah.
now And now we don't know. This is all speculation.
Okay.
Maybe because the Omega, because remember the Alphas weren't resetting it. It was the Omega who resets it. So now maybe he can reset it himself. And so he reset it before they even stuck him out there. And so he can just say, go bomb the Louvre.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's still there in theory.
I don't. Here's what's weird is where he wakes up at the end on the helicopter before it lands. When the helicopter lands, it's over. We're told that their whole force is
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Because the Omega is like the mothership.
You're right,
When
you're
he
right.
destroys
I
the
forgot,
Omega,
yes.
everything, and then when he goes back, the Omega's not even there, and all the forces are crumbling because he has destroyed the Omega, gone back, and now has erased the presence of the Omega. Which kind of creates a plot hole because wouldn't the Omega be there if he destroys it now
See?
and goes
Not
back?
so
Wouldn't
easy.
the Omega be there?
But
And-
maybe,
I don't know, but
maybe Kevin, that's what the sequel will iron out
Address.
for us.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
but
maybe.
just this movie by itself, I was left asking some questions just on my own. I
Sure.
went and did some like Google, research
Oh,
and all
yeah?
that stuff just to get a little bit of. I watched it. Now I want to hear because I kind of was wanting to know how would we even know what would happen to him when, like I said, we don't have to revisit it. Like I just didn't know why he woke up at a different time and if anyone
do have
knew
to-
that was going to happen and if he was going to be repeating that day. Like how would we know? Because that hasn't happened to anybody else except Emily Blunt,
But now it hasn't even happened to her.
but not even her. Right? It was a totally different.
So we
You're
don't
right.
know.
We're in a
Time-
totally
timeline.
different. We're in a total. We don't know
Yes.
what's going to happen next.
Hence the sequel, I guess. But
But
and
I think it makes the movie end on a happy note. The idea that because he was willing to give it his all and destroy the enemy, he actually got a reward he never intended or planned on, which is the idea that now that he's still alive, and he's at a point where he gets to go and still meet Emily Blunt, who we
Yes.
assume he fell in love with. So
and who knows about the power at this point in the movie.
Right.
She knows about the power. She's just lost the power.
But she doesn't know what he's about to tell her. Is that we just
I know. No, I know.
But she's going to
but
believe
she
him
would believe
because she's
him
actually gone through it.
But
because
he's
she
gonna have
knows
to
the
do-
he
power,
almost
right?
has
He's
to go
get-
find her
and-
because she's the only
and it
person.
almost
Exactly. That
doesn't
would
seem
believe
like
him.
a.
Exactly. Or
And,
that
and we
little
already
whatever
know
Charlie Bucket
he's
dude.
able to get her to believe it pretty quickly. Because
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
he's like, here's your middle name. Here's how many
I
scoops.
will
they
say,
say-
it
so-
almost doesn't feel like a reward because now he has to they don't have the same shared experience.
Well, that was
now.
what her complaint was too when she was talking about she had it with Hendrix, was that she'd have to explain it to Hendrix every time.
Yeah.
And then what she said, I watched him die 300 times. And they say you only see 27 times of him coming back, where they imply that's been like thousands of
Yes.
times.
Right.
Yeah, I got that.
Because he never says.
Mhm.
When she's like, how many times have you done it? He doesn't say.
He doesn't answer.
Right.
I think it would also be interesting if in the sequel, prequel, he's Hendrix. But that's just me saying that would be interesting.
Just throwing that out.
So another
Just throwing that out
thing,
there.
if I can just get some clarification on this. So the Omega, what was happening was this day in general, no matter who was coming back, has gone on for years because that's how the Omega
Knew
was
that they were
winning
gonna- Mhm.
when
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was saying this is a trap, and they had all of this intelligence, which kind of goes to your theory about how war works. Really, like we got this. They were planning this. The world was planning this attack. They thought they had it wrapped up. They're like they'll never expect this. A little bit of hubris, but because they really did have it. The only thing they couldn't have prepared for was that the Omega had seen it and so many times
Yeah.
lived.
They
the day,
got
right.
defeated, and every time one of the alphas got killed, the Omega that triggered the Omega to reset the day. So now the
The surprise.
Exactly.
They're
the surprise attack is not a surprise anymore.
So they're basically doing what Tom Cruise did,
Mhm.
but that's what they've been doing.
Exactly.
Is
and that's how
resetting
they.
it.
But who is
that's how they've been winning.
Is it just that Omega, the leader, the Omega,
in
that's
the-
the one that's
that was in
restarting
the
himself?
Louvre.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, I
That
think
is
from
the
the
one.
scientist's description of the alien race, while they are separate entities running around fighting this war, they are one singular nervous system.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Omega is like the brain,
Right, okay.
and then the
Alphas are like the blood cells.
or the sensors. They're
Yeah.
the eyes and the ears, and then the other
The-
things
yeah,
are,
the
are the
receptors,
fingers.
whatever.
Right. So the Omega sees an alpha die, and he goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to reset
Yeah.
That was a little hard on the brain.
And the weird thing about like they propose is that our humanity. It's probably there's some weird connection between the way our brain synapse works and the way the aliens communicate to one another, that we are able to get in there if you kill an alpha and get enough blood on you, I suppose.
And those aliens
Yeah.
are pretty cool. I like the design of them.
I would just try. I thought
They-
were
how
really
they
cool.
moved really
I
weird.
Didn't like,
Yeah.
fast. I didn't like the fact that they're called mimics.
yeah.
I didn't. I didn't
Yeah,
understand
I
the
didn't.
naming.
Why would? Yeah, I didn't know why they called them that.
But that seems really video gamey. That
Yeah.
seems like a very like
That
the
seemed
mimics.
very Space Invader-y.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess because
Or at
we've
least
also
the
had
design of
movies
the
where we
character
fought
even.
mimics before, and it troubled me that while you're using the name from a terrible horror movie about mimics
Oh,
being an alien. You never saw the mimic.
I don't think so. It doesn't ring a bell.
I'm thinking of the one where they were in Antarctica. The Thing.
Oh, the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Now this one is Sorvino. What's her name?
Mira Sorvino.
Mira.
Mira Sorvino's vehicle. She's a scientist fighting a
That sounds
bug that
familiar.
they developed that gets into the subway system, and it can look like homeless people. It's
Oh.
a giant.
No,
I
I'm
don't
thinking
remember that.
species. I
Bug.
think.
Maybe. I don't
It's
know.
called mimic. There's like a
Um,
couple of them.
According to the internet,
Uh-oh.
they were called mimics because they were capable of mimicking human military behavior extremely quickly.
Because they were learning.
Well,
Yeah, I
because
got
they're
you.
learning,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they didn't realize.
And we didn't know
that
why
they
Oh
were
yeah,
learning.
I didn't catch. If that was
in the
exposition, I
movie.
didn't catch
I
it.
didn't catch that either. No.
But yeah, that makes sense. Knowing
I
that
found
makes sense.
the start of the movie interesting because they're using all that live, real TV footage to set everything up. In fact, even the comet that they say is striking in Germany is actually a comet that hit, I think, in Russia or somewhere. But it's actual footage of
Oh wow.
everything at the start of the
That's
film.
not CG?
Is all no. It's all like live.
It's fake news.
News
Fake
footage.
Fake
News.
news. Andy, don't believe it.
The people I'd like to talk about would be J Squad and
Yeah.
Master Sergeant.
The America's best worst actor, Bill Paxton.
She hates Bill Paxton.
Wait. Why?
Oh, he's
Wait.
so good. in
Look,
this
She
film.
I don't
hates
hate
Bill
Bill
Paxton.
Paxton.
Why is
Okay,
he the worst
So
actor?
here's the thing.
You're stupid, but
He's the
was.
worst actor. I don't hate him.
You
The-
just
the-
riled up the penguin.
The movie that I was introduced to Bill Paxton in, which is another one of my favorites,
Weird
is True
Science.
Lies.
Oh, no.
I love
He's
True
fucking
Lies.
awesome in that movie.
and he's like the smarmy used
Yes.
car
I
salesman.
love him in True Lies.
And I hated the character.
He plays
He
so
plays that
much.
character
early on
so
in his
great.
career. He played hated. I mean, even in Weird Science, he's playing
No.
a hated.
Yeah,
The one
right.
I always think of is
Alien.
Alien.
We're in some real deep shit now.
Yeah.
Game over,
Game
man.
over, man.
Game over.
His voice lacks inflection. I don't know what it is
I think
about the way he
America lost
delivers
something
his
when we lost Bill
lines.
Paxton.
Yeah.
He was
No.
a great actor.
The movies he's in, I enjoy.
Yeah.
I like the actor, despite the fact that I don't think he's a good actor. I don't
He's
know.
so awesome.
I don't know what it is about him.
And
Is
I
it
think
just
his-
because
and I
he's
think
him?
His Sergeant Major
Like-
Farrell is.
Oh, he was great.
He just doesn't have
great.
range.
Yeah. Oh,
But
it was great.
I did enjoy him with the accent in this movie
Oh,
because
I
it's
don't
probably
know
the
why
most
he played
inflection
that
I've ever.
role.
Why do they call
Like
it
a-
Silent Hill? Don't know. Don't care. Never asked.
Which is such a military response
Yeah.
to give.
From the first time he's introduced, where he's talking to Tom Cruise, to each time he does that, and each time he goes through that, and his reaction, like, and
Right.
just
Well, yeah,
And
because
Bravo,
and the best part is
Paxton,
he just
bravo.
and every time he still says it, no matter how much he interrupts.
Yeah.
him.
Even when
Exactly.
he's trying to be prophetic
What did he
and tell
call
them that
him?
I've
What
been here
was it?
before,
What did he wake up
he's
to
still
every
trying
morning?
to maintain his composure and go
He
through
was
it 100%.
on top of the bags.
But what name? He was getting called like a. What did Bill Paxton call him every morning?
I don't
No,
remember.
not that. The
It
drill
was the other
sergeant.
guy. Get up, maggot.
Or maggot. He said something
maggot.
like that 1,000 times. Every
Maggot.
morning. I have to wake up to that every morning
Every
for
morning.
1,000 days.
And then they had the guy who would fight in his underwear with his jock strap.
his jockstrap.
And then the guy with the mustache who I was like, you look at him, you're like, oh man, he's a badass, and then he dies. Like,
Yeah,
right.
yes,
Every single time.
I love that.
And in fact, later on, there's a joke, if you catch it, where he walks in, he's naming everybody, and he goes, you.
And you don't talk about it.
You don't talk.
he didn't say, you're going to die on the plane tomorrow. He's like, you don't talk much. We don't get a chance to get to know you.
Tom Cruise was awesome in
Yes.
this movie. I mean,
Yes.
I love.
Classic.
He was
Cruise.
Because Tom Cruise, but he was Tom Cruise in this movie. But I mean, I thought that
I'm able to forgive him for that in this one. It's good.
yeah.
Well, he sold it he sold the change. He sold from
Yes, absolutely. The smarmy PR
guy to okay, I'm going to accept my role.
Empathetic, kind of like I want to do this, or I need to do this because I'm the only one that can do this. No, I think you're absolutely right. He did sell that, which is something that I think was missing out of another Tom Cruise vehicle that we've discussed, Vanilla Sky.
They say in the novel, in the novel they end with him. He's called Killer Cage,
Like she's
really?
the angel
Okay.
overdone.
and he's Killer Cage.
Okay.
There's a novel.
Did it come out before the movie, or is it like a novelization of the movie?
I think it's the manga novel.
Oh, the manga.
Oh,
That's right.
right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the,
I'm sorry. The
All You Need
manga.
Is Kill.
Okay.
All you
Yeah.
need is kill. Do.
A good moment, I think, that's setting up kind of the end of the movie, though, where it's the first time we see them escape the beach, and they get the car, and they're going, and then they're walking across the field. She's not in armor at all. His armor runs out of gas, and he has to turn it off, and he has to step out of it. And I think that moment is foreshadowing that by the time you get to the end of the film, he's not going to have his ability, right? He wins the film. They have everything to risk at the end, and they are truly fighting the war for the first time, both of them, without being
any
able to reset.
advantage.
And I think that's one of the reasons this movie goes from being good to being great. Because at the end, there are real stakes that they're fighting. Like, if they lose here, if he gets killed here, that's it. There's no resetting it. So there are now real stakes. Like, throughout the entire movie, they're going through all the steps to try to get there. But the stakes are, as long as she gets a bullet in him fast enough, there really aren't stakes.
No, and it's a great moment when they both get into the loo and they're standing there, and she's trying to convince him he's got to take the bombs, and they're arguing over who's gonna, run the alpha the wrong way, and she's like, Kage, neither one of us are getting out of here.
Yeah.
This is it. We're done. We either kill it or it's over.
We
We're
kill
not-
it, it
this
kills
is-
us, but
Yeah.
we're gonna die either way.
We're trying to save the world, not us, not us as individuals. And I think that's really the
we are living
the
at
climactic
the
moment
edge
of what anyone
of
who
tomorrow.
anyone who fights war has to eventually learn to be able to win a war, is that you're not fighting for you, you're fighting for everyone else.
Fighting for the edge of tomorrow.
I changed my mind. It's a great title for the movie.
But no, I'm glad.
It's better. The Edge of Tomorrow is better than Live, Die, Repeat. I will give it that. Live,
so
Die,
much
Repeat is
better.
terrible.
Which is
Please
why
don't
they
call
changed
these
it.
people live, die, repeat.
I know, right?
Please learn.
I kinda like
Learn
Live,
from your
Die, Repeat.
mistake.
Jesus.
Well, I liked it as a tagline. I didn't know it was the name of the movie.
It
with the-
was
I
at
thought it
one
was just the
point.
tagline.
Well,
I was
they-
like, that's a great
They
tagline.
changed it to the tagline.
Oh.
They,
Yeah, so they flipped
changed
it,
it
yeah.
so it was Edge of Tomorrow.
Great tagline.
Live, Die, Repeat.
But I just don't like
As,
the Edge of Tomorrow as the name.
Y'all go to
because-
our Twitter and tell us what you think the name of this movie should be.
Well, I mean, what would you have named it
This
though?
movie should have been
Well, I
Badass
liked All You
Groundhog
Need
Day.
Is Kill. What's wrong with that?
Well,
All you
Yeah,
need
yeah,
is
yeah.
kill.
dude, thank you for
dude.
finally joining us.
Was that a Joey Cox song?
Yeah, it is.
This movie was almost on my favorite. It didn't quite when we were doing our at the top of the season when we list our top 5. This movie was almost on my 5
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
So, who hadn't seen it before this?
I hadn't seen it.
Just-
This
I
was the
had
first
not.
time I'd seen it, and
Okay.
it was
loved it.
and it was a faint, like, oh,
You
might have
vaguely
heard
remember
of it.
it.
Maybe I'd have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Like I said, I had confused this with Sky Captain, and I haven't seen Sky Captain nor of this, and I'm glad I saw this.
Yes, thank you for making. us-
I
So-
wish you
Yay,
had
well,
come
I'm
and
glad.
like, you had
So
watched Sky
good.
Captain.
Tom Cruise.
That would have been what?
Tom Cruise wasn't
He
in this.
was in this movie.
For someone who has made a mistake on what movie and who's in it, if you came to the table going, "Okay, guys,"
when is what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker showing up?
she still should have been in it.
Really?
I love her.
Really? Okay. I wasn't a big Sex in the City. Like I watched
Okay.
it. It was all
Oh
right.
my god.
It was all
Every-
right.
I'm picking one of those movies. If just give me a genre.
She's
somewhere.
gonna make you guys watch Sex and the City too.
Oh, they would get the flu
God,
that day.
really?
Yes.
Can't watch it. Haven't seen the first one. I'd be lost.
No.
I'll
Okay,
catch you
Andy.
up.
Unfortunately.
Spoiler alert. It's not that deep.
Exactly.
You can watch 2 without watching
I
1.
could turn any movie pretty.
The guy's name's Mr.
Hey,
Big.
you really can.
Song with Doug. I like J Squad. They were
Yes. Yes. At first, I was like, "Who are these people?"
I like the fact
Like,
that
they're
they go to
being
J
a little
Squad at the
jerky.
end when they know they can't repeat anymore, but they need somebody. They need to fly to Paris to.
And then they're like, we're not going to do this for you. So I don't expect you to do it for me.
I
He's
expect
like,
you to do it for her.
that's the Full Metal bitch. And they say there's a scene where she punches a guy in the face for saying it. To
She
her.
is. There is. It's in the movie.
Oh, so
That's
she.
the first time you see it when they're leaving, the first scene where they're going to the carriers to fly to the beach.
That's,
She's walking.
she walks out, right.
And somebody goes, "Hey, it's the Full Metal bitch," and she goes, "Boom!" and punches him,
Yeah.
and it keeps walking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's got that cloud from Final Fantasy sword.
Yeah, she's the only one.
Oh, that giant.
yeah.
That
No one else
giant
really gets her
Well,
little war
and so they
powers.
say that is because, like a video game, she would run out of bullets. So she knew she needed to save her bullets, so she'd use the sword
Mhm.
instead of shooting.
Again, that makes so much
It
sense.
does.
The
Well,
whole
and again,
video
when
game
she's on
thing.
she's on the beach with him, and he's like, "I think I got a hole in me. I got a hole in my chest." She goes, "Yeah, you got a hole in your chest." Did you just take my battery?
I thought
War
that was
as hell.
great. I like that the women in this. There weren't a whole lot of women, but the ones that were strong female characters.
Absolutely.
You know, they were like I
Emily
like.
Blunt was a badass.
She
in this
was with
movie.
that big old sword.
Yeah. I mean that sword is. I mean, even in like video game, come on, that's ridiculous. But
It's Cloud
it's
from
fucking
Final
awesome.
Fantasy.
When they wake up in the city and they've just survived the car wreck, she's gonna kill him with like a Bowie knife.
She's just
She's
like,
got a Bowie
you
knife and gonna stab. She goes, "I'm sorry, Cage." He's like, "Wait, I'm out." But so close to just taking a big knife right through the chest.
And she don't care.
No, she was gonna kill him with the Bowie. Like, I mean, before you see her, she shoots him in the head like thousands of times.
Oh
But
god.
this is the first time she was gonna.
just stab him.
Yeah.
So which movie does it better? So this movie, one of the questions that kept going through my head as I think about this movie is which movie did it better? This movie shares the same, and I'm going to call it time travel rules because I don't know what else to call it, but the same paradoxical rules as Groundhog Day. So which movie does it better, Groundhog Day or Edge of Tomorrow?
I think they're both very successful at it.
I haven't seen Happy Death Day, but I'm.
I've
it's-
seen that.
Have you
I've
seen
seen
it?
that, and
Yeah,
it's
I
the
heard it
same
has the
idea.
same rules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same rules.
yeah.
Absolutely. That one's fun.
And there's a sequel
it's
to
not as
that
good as
too
this.
coming out.
yeah,
It's
there.
already out.
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
the Star Trek Discovery has an episode where they do a repeat
Yeah.
on time.
I mean, this is it's a common kind of time
I know it
travel-esque
is.
theme.
I think Groundhog Day did it first, but it's
Yeah,
and
I don't-
it's it's hard. Like you have to have someone at the helm, like really being very careful about what you're doing because it can get so boring so fast.
Yeah.
To have to watch these repeat days.
Yeah.
I
Someone
think
wa-
Edge of Tomorrow does a really good job of advancing the story and not becoming because it could have been so repetitive, right?
Oh, sure.
You could have told the
Mhm.
story
That's
if you had
what
to see
you're
the
risking
Yes.
with all those
Yeah.
titles.
yeah.
the idea that they focus on different moments of the day and the fact that he changes what he does from day to day, like
Yeah.
as he learns and develops, and you're able to suspend your disbelief and able to just go along with it. So I
Yeah.
think it does
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah, as much as I love Bill Murray and the comedic part of Groundhog Day, I think when you add on the layer of
The
Okay.
analysis.
the analysis, thank you, the analysis, the analysis of the war aspect that you added onto, when you layer that in, it covers the exact same thing that Groundhog Day does. There's a character that has to learn something and sacrifice himself and grow in order to move on past the day, right?
Mhm.
You got to do all that in this movie, but you add in all the undertones of
To me,
war,
just the nature of the
Yeah,
philosophy of war.
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
strategy
the strategy and the philosophy of war, all of that into it. I think that adds a layer to this
Oh, yeah,
that
totally.
I think it made it better than Groundhog Day. That was my,
Yeah,
at least I liked it.
Yeah, I guess
think that-
Groundhog Day is just a lighter comedy without much. You know,
I think they're both good for what they were.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think this one, this reminds me of Groundhog Day, obviously.
Mhm.
I really enjoy Groundhog Day. I like that movie. If it comes on, I'm probably going to watch some of it. I think they both did it well.
I mean,
I think this one did have more.
If I was a movie producer
at
and you
stake,
came
more
in
nuance.
and you pitched me Groundhog Day and Starship Troopers mashup, I would make it.
I am on board.
Yeah, I just don't think the aliens and
Here's
Groundhog Day
$130 million.
were that believable. If you ask me,
Let's make it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I just don't think the aliens and Groundhog Day were very believable. If you ask me,
Right? I know. Come on. Spend a little bit of money. Come on.
come on, Harold Ramis.
Exactly. Jeez. Insanely fun movie. Highly recommend it to anybody that hadn't seen it. And I mean, obviously, lots of people have seen it because it made a buttload of money. But I hadn't seen it. The time travel, I think the rule, it sets up and follows its rules really well. It's not hard to do that with this movie because all you got to do is the reset, right? The kill yourself reset.
Yeah, especially if they're going to make a sequel of this. Go see this one now. See this one as soon as you can, so you're ready for when and if that sequel ever comes out.
I'm just hoping they
Soon,
don't.
I
I'm
think.
hoping they don't Matrix it up. Like this movie was
Oh, yeah.
excellent on its own.
that
I enjoyed
fear
it. It
always
was
exists.
great.
But there is, yeah.
So no, they've greenlit it. They haven't started filming it.
Oh, they haven't. Oh, okay.
No, they have a
So,
script. Everyone
I
has
just-
to agree on the script.
and they're having a lot of problems with everybody getting together.
Oh, okay.
Again.
You know,
Emily
because
Blunt has some timing issues with everybody else, I think.
She is America's treasure.
she's in high demand.
Apparently
She really
now.
is.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's doing The Quiet Place too or something like
She's
that.
doing Mary Poppins too.
Yeah.
The Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about matrixing up a film. Mary Poppins.
I didn't
Right.
watch it.
Jeez. When she stopped those bullets, crazy.
I can't
With
wait
her
for it.
How'd she
Umbrella?
lean back so far?
I
just
know.
don't get that.
With a
They're
spoonful of
filming.
It's
sugar.
the yoga.
In Mary Poppins
the
3,
umbrella.
this time she means business.
Yeah, she's gonna go down into that inner sewer London rave scene.
I heard the fourth one is gonna co-star Dennis Rodman. Yeah. So Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Flippers
I
up.
think it's two flippers up from everybody. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you had to say a bad thing about it, I got nothing.
He should have known his audience.
The general.
I mean, to be honest with you, if you really want, I mean, there's like again that sweater. You can pull it apart. You could say, hey, I don't understand why nobody can recognize Cage. He's been on TV as the face of this war forever, and nobody in this whole military complex knows that that's the guy they've been seeing on TV.
I just
Oh,
assumed,
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
assumed that they're so
I
busy
didn't even think about
fighting the
that.
war. That,
Well, I figured they didn't watch TV.
Yeah.
I figured they and if they are watching TV, they're not watching the news.
Well,
they're living the
to be
news.
honest,
Why
that thought
watch the
never
news?
occurred to me while watching. I mean, like
Yeah,
I
they're
said,
watching Gummer
I
Pile or something.
I will
Yeah, yeah.
completely give you the
Satire
suspension
of
disbelief
war.
and just
Hogan's
enjoy this
Heroes.
film
well, and
all day long.
in the end, they don't have to. They got their
Colonel
orders.
Klink.
Your orders say you're a private.
Yeah.
You just showed up. We don't really care what you say.
Yeah.
These are what your orders say.
Exactly.
And
I'm
That's
here
the way
to-
it is.
And really,
know,
it
'cause
doesn't
I
matter.
follow orders.
Or
It
people
doesn't
die.
matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what he was.
You want
in
me on that
America.
wall.
Now he's in the World Army, and in the World Army, you're nothing.
Right.
So
Top flight security guard of the world, Craig. Well, any final thoughts on Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, or Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat?
Just if you make a movie, have a good title going out. Don't.
I don't think it
Has
suffered
there
a whole
been any
lot.
other
for it.
movies that have
It's a
like
great movie.
that have retitled? I know I saw like. Do you remember that movie Gleaming the Cube with
yes,
Christian Slater?
Christian
So-
Slater.
It's not called Gleaming the Cube anymore.
Well, I've seen it as titled as something else. Like you like you're flipping through the channels, and it's like the description. And I don't know if this is one of those glitches that you just find, but the description said something, and it was like a very similar title. Like it wasn't like Gleaming the Cube. It was like Stoked Skater or something that was like
Weird.
related to Gleaming the Cube's plot points.
That's a movie we need to do.
I know,
just want to
right?
say something. I was just really upset the other day because I saw a movie called Arrival 2, and I loved Arrival so much that I decided I'd watch Arrival 2.
No. You watched The Arrival too.
Yeah, is
So-
there a The Arrival 1? Like
Yes,
what the hell
it's
was
with
this
Charlie
film?
Sheen.
It's a horrible,
It was
movie.
Charlie Sheen was in The Arrival.
And it had nothing to do with Arrival.
That movie's so good. Should have won Best Picture.
Arrival's so good.
Oh,
Arrival
my
is
God.
good.
I'll give you a round.
That's a wrap for Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. Check us out on the interwebs. We need you to enter our contest. We
Please
have
enter
a
the contest.
I know we have a contest going right now. If you don't know about it, now you know. We have a contest going. You need to decide what we are going to be talking about in season 4. Hit us up on the Twitters at Dirty Presents. Hit us up on Facebook, The Dirty Penguin Presents. On Instagram, The Dirty Penguin Presents. Email us at thedirtypenguinpresents@gmail.com.
I got something too. Also, follow Kevin on Twitch, where he will do Super Mario Brothers from the beginning to Bowser on muscle memory.
He will
All
beat
on
Mario
muscle
Brothers in
memory.
8 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So go enter our contests. Go check us out and just go say hi. Go say hi on the Facebook page, on the Instagrams, and on the
Well,
Twitters.
come to Kevin's house. He lives at.
Next movie that we got. That's right. Join us for our next episode when we will be talking about what group?
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko, another time travel movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Join us next time for Donnie Darko and Squawk Dirty.
Squawk